Okay, so this is the second episode of this trial series, and hopefully we'll stay on topic.
We'll try.
All right, this is the same trial lawyer again that I tried a case against 4 years ago. And he was really rotten 4 years ago. He was insulting, negative, mean. We just hated him so much. And
was this during everything, like during depositions?
everything, no matter what, everything that he did, he just is a mean kind of a person. There's no fun in him. There's no niceness in him. His just overall aspect is mean. And we didn't even have AI 4 years ago, and still the team made a meme of him that we like making memes of lawyers, just FYI. And his head was taken and put on Putin's body on top of a horse. So we called him, his name is R Putin. It was R Putin. And still was before this trial started. And we schooled him, he appealed it, lost. And they had to pay that verdict. And I think it was like $11 million of interest. It was a big verdict and a lot of interest. And they had to pay it. And it was a $100,000 policy. But the insurance company did not do a good job. We had them for bad faith. So they paid it in January of this year. So while this case is being litigated and going on, this appeal, they're losing the appeal. They're trying to appeal the appeal. And then finally, the Supreme Court says, yeah, we're not touching this, and has to pay it. So the first trial was supposed to start in December. Then it got pushed to January of this case, and it's been waiting. Finally tried the case here in August. He is so paranoid of everything I did in that trial. He's bringing motions. They brought a motion that I couldn't play music to the jury, sing to the jury. They wanted to see any day in the life, everything that they thought that I would do. And they renewed it right before I did closing again, because they just thought I was going to do this stuff. So really wary of me. Totally different people, totally different injuries, totally different everything. And I had tried the case with more lawyers last time. This time it was just me, and then John did the motion, so he was not present before the jury because he was from, he lives in Massachusetts. He did all the motions virtually. And Rory, R is flanked by KR, his partner, and then AS, a young attorney. So there's 3 attorneys every day. And I'm just telling you this because I have to tell you about the meme we created. So KR just had a tick of, I can't even do it.
Pursing their lips.
But they always went really down. Like, I don't even know how to do it that down. And I'm an old person that has jaws. Like, I can't even do it.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You can't like this. And I have grandkids, and the big thing is pow pow fish. So I said, oh my God, it's pow pow fish. I said, Kristen, we got to use KR as pow pow fish. Well, Kristen took it farther, and so pow pow fish, she made the pow pow fish.
Do the pow pow.
And so she's got the big blue fish face, blue head, but then she put R, and he's looking kind of like Pee-wee Herman is his expression. And he's a little yellow, what is that? It's some kind of a crustacean that's right next to pow pow fish. So that was our meme the whole trial. And all I'm telling you this is because you have to have strategies to deal with all of that negative energy. So tip number 1, or rule number 1, as a plaintiff lawyer, we have to be optimistic. We have to be positive. We have this big burden and all this stuff has happened, but we have to bring our positive energy to the courtroom. You agree, right?
Yeah,
There's
I agree
something
with that.
about, and that's where I'm good at doing that. It's like, okay, and is it performative? Only performative in the sense of, like, if you're going to a cocktail party, which even though I don't drink, going to some kind of social gathering, you kind of just like take a big breath and you get ready to go meet about 100 people. So you're lively and you're bigger and you're just like, hi, because you're not talking one-on-one, you're talking to a group. So that, I guess you would say, is more performative. But for me, for Mo, it's very innate to our personalities. Like, we're positive people.
Yeah.
So it just radiates off of us. And you really notice the difference when the defense is a poopy face like our.
Well, and I'd interject. You guys are good storytellers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it, is people who have delivery and can show emotion but not get too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you get this big, like I said, the poopy face. So they've been poopy faced the whole trial. They've been poopy faced for every single thing that happens. They make these comments. They're snide. They're mean. They're low blows. They're completely unnecessary. As I told this jury, there's no need to be mean like that. That was my whole rebuttal, was like, that was mean and that was brutal. You don't have to do that. But I don't know, just even the little specifics of what happened. There's so many of them. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts of being mean and rude. He attacked one of our experts, Chloe Johnson. And his closing argument was, she's not a surgeon, she's not a doctor, she's nothing. He created this board, like he wrote on the board, like his demonstrative aid was not a surgeon, the big zero with the circle, not a surgeon, not an MD, they're not licensed. She's board certified in her profession, no license, but has a driver's license. To belittle her to the jury, well, she's got a driver's license. So there's just this level of nasty that is not the norm, I would say. Even most defense lawyers are negative. Don't get me wrong. They come in there, they got the cloud over their head, and they are negative, and then or is negative. Like 80% of them, they can't help themselves. Doesn't help them. They can't help themselves. Maybe 10% are the kind that I'm most worried about. They're friendly. They have a positive. My friend Shelley, she's pretty friendly.
They seem like plaintiff's attorneys, or they seem
they're more
like
positive. They're not so negative. They can laugh. They can joke. And then you have less than 10%, honestly, 3%, maybe 5%, that are just awful. And that's what this guy is. He's just awful. The only thing that he didn't do in this case was hire a PI to tail the client, probably because he lived in New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so another lawyer wrote me, because I write these trial diaries, and he was following it, and he told me the story. He got a verdict against this guy, the same attorney, and here's what happened in their trial. 13-year-old client suffered serious injuries. They had her tailed, and then during trial, played it for the jury.
the video.
The video to show however, the plaintiff lawyer was laying in wait and didn't say anything about this. They tailed the sister.
That's great.
The video is not of the child.
I thought the one that we talked about for one of our cases back was an idiot, but this one's even worse.
So they sandbagged him at trial, and so, it's bad enough. Can you imagine tailing a 13-year-old kid?
And doing the wrong, for the PI to get the wrong person.
The wrong kid. And so the plaintiff lawyer just didn't say anything.
Yeah, of course. He was waiting for him to hang themselves.
Anyway, so when you are a positive person and you are confronted with that much poopy, right? There's several things you want to do. One, you want to just slap them. You can't do that in front of a jury. You have to maintain.
Unless you're like that guy that sandbagged him, that's pretty much slapping him.
And you don't want to be mean in front of the jury, like saying petty stuff towards that attorney. But you also can't just let it happen. So there is a fine line there.
I don't have visibility into the internal
back and forth because I've not worked a case with
R.
and the other lawyer. But I can tell you,
Have you had other ones like that?
well, yeah, but I can tell you that I was in court for this case, and they came and interacted. They were very professional. Like every time they ran into me, they would said hello, asked me how I was doing, very polite. Okay, but what I can tell you is I did observe their lawyering, and I think that their lawyering, I saw two major problems. One was, this happens with Karen, is that lawyers get too focused on Karen and lose sight of what they're supposed to do. So I think what ended up happening...
Why did they do that?
It's because the nature of your lawyering and personality style draws somebody into a personal battle. It's just who you are. It's that you don't maintain appearances. You're just authentic, and you're you. And
I'll do an analogy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you don't like football, and I don't know if Mo does or not.
He loves
I
it.
do. I love football.
But anytime a team wins the Super Bowl, usually they lose some of their coaching staff right away. Like almost immediately after the game, they're probably getting calls. And you'll lose some of the players and stuff. But the big thing that happens is they watch and watch and watch what that coach did, because they want to emulate what the winning coach did.
Yeah.
That's what they do to you.
And that's a good analogy. The add to that is that they get distracted from what they're supposed to be doing and focused on responding to you. And defense lawyers do this all the time, because being defensive is defensive in nature.
Yes.
Reactive in nature. What they failed to do, they had the pieces in this case available to them to do. They failed to tell a compelling story. They brought their client, and who sat in the courtroom with his spouse, sometimes even the kids, in the courtroom. They failed to tell a compelling story about their client, humanizing them. And that is why they lost. And the reason they were getting frustrated, and I was observing this, was that their reaction to her made them not, the judge was picking up on it. And this judge is a very smart trial judge.
Judge Larnaga.
He is an exceptional trial judge.
Wait, let's just take a moment. We love Judge Larnaga. He didn't even, but he heard, all I could do is sing his praises. My whole staff loved him.
Yeah.
The jury loved him. Staff loved him. He is so good. One of the better judges I've ever tried a case in front of. So pleasant. The courtroom so welcoming. Let us try the case, but so intelligent and never mean. Always firm.
Yeah.
I loved him.
So they had a really great trial judge who was going to let them try their case.
Great trial judge.
He was going to let you try your case. He was going to let them put their
Very
case.
fair judge, you would say, right?
I mean,
Yes.
he was going to let them put their evidence on.
Both sides.
But they did not tell a story. So the closing, where he is taking pot shots at an expert or whatever he's doing, what it's telling the jury. Remember, juries don't think like this. People always think like juries think like lawyers. Hell no, they don't. They're like, what's your story?
Well, he had a refrain. They didn't want you to know this. They try to hide this from you. They are trying to pull something over you.
They meaning
they.
Well, what is the they trying to pull? Give me an example.
That's exactly what he
Okay,
said.
so I would.
They didn't show you the medical bills. We're their friends. They didn't bring them up. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. They're trying to tell you. They didn't give all the documents to the doctors. I had to object to that. It was a motion in limine. They.
But Mike, they had a client who was in a car with his child, and
A sympathetic person.
A sympathetic person. And I would have said, this is a story about a family man who made a terrible mistake. And,
See, but they don't want to say that.
And who made a terrible, liability, his liability had been resolved before trial.
Well, just not percentage.
Just not percentage-wise, that he was at fault, not the percentage of fault. And you just say, and you say, this is a story of a family man who made a mistake. And what we're here to do is understand what are the consequences of those mistakes and what it means. And both sides are going to tell their side of the story. But what we need you to do is really understand that I would have focused on the guy And I bet
Well,
you
he did. He said this wasn't intentional. This was not. He didn't.
That's
he
not
didn't.
just-
He wasn't drinking. He wasn't high.
But that's the obvious
Statistics.
stuff. I mean, that's the obvious stuff.
I don't disagree with you.
You know, and I would have put on the wife. I would have put on his kids.
No, he couldn't. I objected to that.
Well, I would have tried.
Yeah, because you would have been overruled on that. They already tried, and I got that one kept.
You know, but I would have. You know, well, his kid was in the car.
Well, he listed him as a witness and decided not to call
Well,
him.
I would have called the kid,
You
and I would have.
couldn't, because I took the deposition reluctantly, and he was completely wrong on almost everything of what happened. I would have had to impeach him the whole time. That would have been brutal.
Well, you would have had to impeach the kid the whole time, and I
know.
would have given you the opportunity to impeach a child.
I mean,
Yeah, that's where I.
but no, I'm a grandma. I would have no problem with that.
you know, but
I was
yeah,
very
but-
kind even in deposition.
so that's where they screwed up, man. I mean, they screwed up because they didn't put on a case.
I would say that very similar. This is a very similar dynamic to John Henry Brown, where
Yeah.
he was so distracted by me, by focusing on attacking me personally, that it really shifted him off of his story. And he can tell a story. I mean,
Oh, I was going to say,
different pronouns.
I feel that was just because he was out of his element. He's a criminal lawyer,
Yeah.
and he tried to be a plaintiff's lawyer and was not prepared
Yeah.
to do it against somebody as good as you. That doesn't mean that he's not. He did a lot of big cases.
Yeah.
He was a person who did some work,
yeah.
but he was also a mean person.
I didn't see them attack you personally in the courtroom. These lawyers. I don't know if you,
Oh no, I never had a problem with
Yeah.
Pout
Yeah.
or the other
Yeah.
or the other one. And if you pass are in the hall, always like you said, you know, how are you doing? I can stand and look at him, but yes. In fact, I'm being very mean by even doing this podcast because he's a human being. I don't know, you know, maybe he's really nice behind the scenes. I don't know. I find that hard to believe. To be that mean to human beings means that you have a lot of mean bones in your body.
Yeah.
Yes.
I took the deposition. I mean, I went up there and I cross-examined his client. I wasn't mean to him. Maybe incredulous.
You mean his client,
His client?
not his ex? Did he have any experts?
Yeah.
Were you mean to them?
Well, maybe one of them,
Okay.
but not really. Like my meanness.
You didn't say that the best thing they had was a driver's license.
No, and I never. The difference between me and him is that I learned early on that as a female, I could not just go back out there and be mean to people. The jury would hate me.
Yeah.
It's still prejudiced. A guy even now, I bet you if I went and talked to that jury, they would not have been really upset with him, even as bad as I think he was, because that's what they think that lawyers do,
Yeah.
and especially male lawyer prototype.
Yeah.
That's just what they think that they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't understand. What I don't understand is that, do you think that, how much of this case were you driven by your personal feelings about the defense lawyer? How much?
None. It went into our preparation and knowing how what they were going to do, that they were going to throw everything at the wall in terms of legal pleadings, that they were often going to be baseless. We knew that the last time they didn't object enough and probably got in trouble with appellate counsel because they did not object to many things that they could have, and they didn't preserve their positions well, and that showed in what happened here. They had those three attorneys at all times. They would bring a motion, and then they would move for reconsideration, and then they would bring it again as a new trial kind of motion. Then they were appealing things. We had I don't even know how many motions they appealed to the Court of Appeals. They asked for stays. They lost. It would come back. Then they would then the court would enter a ruling, and even then they renewed it with this new judge, because this judge was a second judge on the case. He was the one that tried it. They renewed all those motions with this judge. So some of these motions we'd argued or been presented 4 times, 5 times.
Well, that's a $40 million verdict that led them to change their behavior. They were so, we were mildly amused at it, but then it was also very irritating.
Yeah. because it was constant.
Yeah.
So yes, they objected more. They were trying to preserve. They were bringing motions over and over again, all the way through trial, even of ones that they'd lost, because you can apparently do that, you know.
Yeah, you can always renew a motion.
You can always renew a motion, guys. Unfortunately, that part they fixed. The rest of it, he couldn't help. He even started off. Initially, I thought, wow, he might have learned something, because he started off saying, "Why are we here? We agree on so much. We agree that my client was at fault. We agree that she was injured. We agree that she's, yeah." But then, and I thought, wow, that's how you would win a case like this, would be to take that approach and just kind of say, well, we accepted responsibility and
it's
this happened.
Accidents happen excuse.
Yes. Now that's the lawyer I'm scared of, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's if they can convince a jury, hey, accidents happen, then you're going to lose.
The problem is he cannot keep that up, because that's not who he is.
Yeah.
He is a mean fighting machine. And so the pot shots started coming. And by the time he got to closing, it was full on attack mode. It was, we're literally hiding stuff from the jury. We are bad people. She is a bad person. I mean, and her husband is a bad person. I mean, it was really mean. He just couldn't keep it up. So for me, if I was a defense lawyer listening to this, which probably you are, and you're going to bring this as a motion to the court of whatever case we are on next to say that we can't be biased enough to be lawyers, the tip for defense lawyers, and I was one for 9 years, it's better not to be that mean. It's better to be more reasonable. It's better to show that it is not just good versus bad, because good is always hopefully going to win over bad. You don't want to be bad. You want to be something that has some good in it. And when you go to that level of extreme and you let your dark ways take over who you are, then the person that is harnessing the good energy has so much better of a chance to do way more.
And there are a lot of defense lawyers that are like that, by the way.
Not a lot.
Well, I mean,
there's some.
I mean, I can, and they deserve credit.
I've already said there's some.
And I can name them.
Less than 10%.
I'm just saying to you that I can name them. They're defense lawyers. My advice to defense lawyer is that don't think that you need to. Don't be defensive. Don't be so damn defensive, because that's where you lose. Tell a story, and forget about the fact that you are responsible and loyal to an insurance company that has contracted you for you to work on a case, and you're thinking, oh my God, I got to defend, I got to maintain the business. You have a client that has a really compelling story to tell. I think they lost an opportunity to tell a story, and that's why.
Well, I will always remember my first mentor from a big firm, insurance defense.
Yeah.
His words were to me were, "You're not here to make friends. You're here to do a job."
That's right.
And all he wanted to teach me was how to be ruthless, which he did. I am ruthless, even though I'm friendly. But ruthless was his motto. So if you are coming into a defense firm that has a hierarchy, you're going to be taught to be ruthless. And it's hard to undo that. It's hard to undo that when you are a defense attorney.
But don't you think how we've often said about plaintiffs' attorneys that you want to, that some of the best ones are working outside of the box. The box for defense is ruthless. Mm-hmm. But if you can be the velvet hammer, mm-hmm. Hide that ruthlessness behind a story of redemption, then you're dangerous.
Well,
this is why sometimes I think about, I could do the defense job really well.
There's several that I think are really, really good. Some of them are retired. Steve Fogg is still he's one of those guys. He's gonna, by the way, as much as he wants to pretend he's a nice guy, and he's the one that he said Mo was only here for a year, and he goes, well, what do you think about Mo? I said, what do you think about Mo? And he goes, well.
Oh, Steve, did he break my heart?
He said, I hear he's not very collegial. And I'm like,
Like what do you mean? Like I didn't go to college?
No, you're not nice.
Remember?
Oh my God!
That's
My ESL.
That's the one where you told his associate, "We're gonna bury you," and made him practically crap his pants.
That's what it meant.
Oh.
Wait, Mo, you gotta show Mike.
I can't do it. I'm in like 11.
You gotta show Mike what you showed me yesterday about wanting us, not ours face, but another attorney that was somebody that you wanted to slap them in the face.
No.
You gotta show them what that was
I'm
like.
not gonna. No.
This is what he does. I'm gonna do it. Before you end. He goes, and I just wanted to go and take my hand and throw it back and slap him across the face. That's what he said.
Of course, you think these things. They were being incredibly rude, disrespectful.
I would have. I'm sure. I'm thinking it right now.
Oh my goodness!
Just show me his picture.
There you go.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Okay.